So if you are not getting the results that you want in business, it's probably partially to do with the fact that you have no idea how to talk to a busy person. I've been in communication with some major players on the planet. Millionaires, billionaires, YouTubers with 6, 7, 8 million subscribers. And there are major lessons that I have learned along the way about how to actually communicate with the CEO mentality. You know, I used to bring a lot of emotionality into conversations and some fluff and excess, and I just didn't understand how busy, successful people think. People who are really up to something, who have a ton of responsibility, who are wealthy, who, again, have that CEO mentality, they have an entire language. They have an entire way of operating. It's like a unique clique. It's like the popular kids at school. You got to figure out how to actually get in and talk to the popular kids. And there was one moment for me where I had this absolute shock factor several years ago. I was just entering the world of CEOs and working with higher performers. I was working with Iman Gadzhi. I've been working with him for like 5 or 6 years, but this was a couple years into our relationship, and I already helped him through several different things with detox, with his mental health. This stuff is all public. He's shared all of this.
I had a 2-3 month period where genuinely all I could think about was killing myself and depression, and he helped me both from a sort of trauma, deep healing perspective, and then also from a more tangible, hey, here's how we actually go ahead and fix it.
And at one point in time, he didn't answer me for like 3 or 4 weeks. I asked him a couple questions and he didn't answer me for 3 or 4 weeks. I was in shock. At that point in time where I was in my system, I was like, okay, this relationship is over. I had never gone 3 weeks without responding to someone unless I wanted to tell them to go fuck themselves. I literally left him an audio message that said like, hey man, like what's going on? You know, is everything okay? I thought maybe we were, I forgot what I said exactly, but it was something like, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you in 3 weeks and I'm a little hurt. I thought I helped you, this and that. It was just this overly emotional message to him of like, you know, dude, what's going on? It's been 3 weeks. And he responded with like, oh no, dude, that's just like how I operate. Like I literally won't answer people for months. And at the time, I thought that was insane. I literally thought that was insane. In my message to him, I remember saying, dude, where I come from, and which is New Jersey, by the way, and this is true, if you don't answer someone for 3 weeks, you literally may as well be saying, go fuck yourself. Like there's no difference. And this is how I grew up. This is where I'm from, how I was raised. And it was a little bit of a time before the internet was everywhere. So like I said, at this point in my career, I wasn't really well versed into the CEO mentality and honestly what was about to happen in terms of the digital era and communication and how things were changing and how the world was changing. And also with how busy people truly operate. You know, of course, I took it personally. I thought the relationship was over. There was literally nothing wrong. There was zero wrong. There was zero emotions. There was nothing on his mind where on my side, I was thinking, what did I do wrong? How did I fuck up? Man, this was a great coaching relationship. What the fuck? On his side, it was like, oh, dude, like this is just how life is. What are you talking about? We're obviously all good now. I've been coaching him. We've been friends for years, and that's besides the point. But not too long after, I also started working with a YouTuber named Hamza, who maybe some of you guys know. And he did the exact same thing, taking weeks to respond. And it was like, wow, this dude just paid tens of thousands of dollars and he's literally not responding to me for weeks. And I thought something was wrong again. But as I begin to work with more and more CEOs, higher performers, very very wealthy people who are on top of their craft, I started to understand how overwhelmed, how busy, and just how much a CEO is dealing with on a regular basis. The amount of bandwidth, the amount of messages, emails, systems, structures, and team members that are going on. As a CEO, you have to essentially have a hyperspeed calculator figuring out what you need to respond to in a given hour or a given day. And there's going to be hundreds of things that you have to ignore for weeks at a time. I literally have hundreds of DMs a day, dozens of emails a day, and this is after a filtering process. It is completely unmanageable to be able to answer people. I have to go weeks without answering someone who's coming to repair my water line, and I just simply go weeks without fixing it or without replying to them, or certain connections within the business who I actually like these people. I genuinely like these people, and I have to simply go weeks without responding to them because of how much is on my plate. I am now on this side of, as the CEO, as someone who is now understanding what it's like to run a team of 10 people, and I'm now the one not answering people for 3 weeks. And I just want to use all of these lessons that I've learned, and now me being on the other side, to teach you how to communicate with busy people. Whether you are a coach coaching high performers, whether you're an employee, whether you are trying to get a job, whether you are just trying to get your foot in the door, it's very important to learn how to communicate with this breed of individuals if you want to make a name for yourself, if you want to grow your business, and if you want to increase your status. So we're about to go into some important lessons, right? But recently I had an issue with a video editor. He was working for me, and every time I asked him a question, he would go into a long, overdrawn, emotional answer about his own process. And it was so repulsive. Like, I remember I asked him, hey, is there any wiggle room on budget? Like, this is feeling a little expensive each month. And he left me a 17-minute video recording about how much he loves the business and loves working for me and how much value he's bringing for me. This is the exact opposite of how you want to communicate with a busy person. If you want to talk to busy people, you can't overcomplicate their lives. You have to bring the simplest, non-emotional answer to a CEO. Even if you're bringing an amazing answer, an amazing solution, even if what you're saying is true, if you wrap it up in 10, 20 minutes of content, if you write a really, really long email, if you have overly emotionality into the conversation, they literally can't tolerate it. Busy people cannot tolerate more complications and more emotionality in their life. It's literally a muscle that is stretched out to the max, about to pop on every single entrepreneur, and they just can't handle it. And so even if I have an employee who's overly bringing me their emotional process, even if they're an amazing employee, I literally can't deal with it, because business is business. It's professional. It's a different category than personal. And we're going to talk soon about how you can still have heart and soul and love and connection in your business, but there has to be a delineation between professional and personal. This video editor was committing a cardinal foul, which is wrapping up all of his emotionality and personal material into the professional conversation. And nothing can kill your business and your relationships faster than that. And so this delineation between professional and personal, right? Wearing different hats, we're gonna potentially have an entire video about this. If you do want a video about this specific subject, just comment below and let me know. It's taken me years to understand, truly years, because I used to bring a lot of personal material into my business dealings as well, right? But the thing is, it makes you weaker. It makes you less valuable. It lowers your quality and efficacy of your work, and it lowers your status, and it creates complication in the relationship and in the mission at hand. So more on this note, essentially people, they indulge in personal language within business processes. This is like excessively talking about your feelings, bringing emotional swings on a regular basis into the workplace. This is things like taking things personally when they're just simply professional. Like if you have a client who's about to leave you to go to a competitor, it's professional. It's not personal. So let's cut right to the chase. If you want to be successful, if you want to increase your status, you have to learn how to speak to busy people. You have to learn what kind of language to use, the tonality, what you say and how you say it, and how you go about it. I'm going to give you a breakdown here of what I learned in the last 8 years and in the last few years of working with insanely high performers, millionaires and billionaires, and a lot of YouTubers and celebrities that you know. Number one, do all of the homework. Busy people do not want to think. They literally pay people to think for them. They want solutions and they don't want any complexity. Bring the solution. I can't tell you how many times I get a DM that say, hey Josh, I thought of this amazing idea. Would you be opposed to me sending it to you? What do you think if I were to send you this? Would you watch it? I literally couldn't possibly block someone's DM any faster if they say something like that. Or people who see a job application on my site and their first email to me or to the company is, hey Josh, are you still hiring for this job? You are literally saying, I am lazy. I am a lazy piece of shit. That's what you're saying, because you are creating more work for the employer as your first communication. Your first introduction is essentially requiring a response instead of bringing value. Bring the shortest, most potent, most efficient value you can possibly bring to a CEO. Bring it fast, bring it effective, and don't ask for permission. Take all of the thinking out of it, all of the complexity out of it. Instead of, hey Josh, I have this amazing idea I thought about. I was thinking about recording a loom for you. Would you be opposed to seeing it? You would just say something like, Josh, I built this. It's going to increase your revenue by 10 grand. I built the whole thing out for you. It's yours for free. If you like it, here's my email. Boom. You now create a powerful position. You put yourself in a position of power and you're speaking the language of a CEO. And another example that we see all the time, excessively indulging in your personal life. Things like, hey, John, I have a baseball game at 4 o'clock and then I have to take my wife to the store at 5 and then there's traffic. I was wondering if maybe we could reschedule for Monday or Tuesday. Do you have any time Monday or Tuesday? You're throwing a weight onto the person you're communicating with. You're literally taking a weight and throwing it on their side instead of picking up the slack, which is, hi, John, I have 4 p.m. Monday PST, 6 p.m. Wednesday PST. What time works for you and what email should I send the calendar invite? Boom, you're making it easy for the CEO. They don't have time for even the micro thoughts. You have to understand how busy a CEO is, okay? And also, if you have a question that you can answer yourself through investigative work, answer the question first. Don't use lazy communication. The lazy thing that people do is like, hey, John, what's your address? But they know the address is buried somewhere in their email inbox. You gotta learn how to not be lazy. If you want your boss, if the CEO, if you want to connect to people who are high status, who are busy, you have to understand how to not have a lazy mentality on the little things. They know when people have a lazy mentality. They know very, very fast. And it feels like added weight to them versus weight being taken away from them. Number 2, hold your center, don't chase. I can't tell you how tempting it is to lose your center when you're talking to a big shot CEO. You might get anxious, you might feel the tingles inside, like the butterflies. Maybe you feel like almost like they're a celebrity. Nobody on the other side, because I've been on that side of things where people are shaking in front of me at a grocery store saying hi to me, and like a client is so excited for the possibility of talking to me on a Zoom call. Nobody wants to feel or hear that bullshit, okay? Nobody wants to feel your excitement when you're talking to them. They can obviously want to feel your positive emotions, yes, but when you are just like lost and giddy to talk to them, all you're saying is, I'm not at your level. I don't belong in this room. That's all you're saying when you're overly giddy and emotional and you can't hold your center. Like I was recently just hired by someone for $100,000, okay, for coaching. And I had to hold a super sharp energy on my side to match what they were bringing. They're probably worth $100 million. I can't sit there and be smiley and giddy and talk to them about the weather. I have to match a level of solidity and structure and be in my center so they can trust me and then they can let go into me as a coach. This is the same that is true for any arena. If you're a client, a coach, a consultant, it doesn't matter. You can't treat wealthy, famous people differently. So just stick to your guns, stick to your structure, stick to your schedule. You don't have to do that much differently to please them. Get the job done, but don't be starstruck or giddy. And on top of that, you don't really want to ask these CEO mentalities, these types of people, for advice on your business and on your life. You know, you might think that you're being humble and relating to them, but they don't have the bandwidth to help you. That's what they get paid for. So just simply do the job that they hired you for. Once you develop a relationship in the long term, like now I can call up Iman anytime and he'll give me some business advice, right? So if you want to be respected by a busy person, you have to have a no bullshit, no fluff, no agenda attitude. Agenda is the big thing. When you're shaking, when you're nervous, it's because you have an agenda. You got to get present to that agenda and let it go. It's about the mission at hand and it's about taking as much responsibility on your side of the fence to make their job easier. Keep communication professional, keep it to a bare minimum, whatever needs to be said, just the essential facts, and only communicate what needs to be communicated. As soon as you bring a level of overly personal stuff or you add complexity to the person's life, you're automatically going to be put on the back burner. And also along the lines of like not chasing, right? I have had multiple clients pay me between 30 and 50 grand who literally will only show up to 1 or 2 coaching calls and completely disappear. The first time this happened, I think I sent like 6 emails and I called the person like 2 or 3 times like, hey, are you okay? How is everything? They just don't care. 40 grand is not enough for them to show up. You don't have to chase them down. You just hold your center. Let them be in their spin, in their stuff. You've done your side of the job and just simply hold your center. The next thing is very important, and this could be an entire video itself. It's keeping things professional, okay? The overuse of any personal language, things like feelings, emotions, process, it doesn't belong in a business conversation or a business email. You want to keep things short and sweet. You want to keep things simple. A perfect example of this just recently happened to me, where the person is leaving a 17-minute Loom video about, hey man, my heart and soul has been invested into this, and I've been spending so much time, and I love this project, and this is my mission, and we are bringing so much value to you, man. Don't you see how much value we're bringing to you? And it's just like, oh my goodness, just bring me the facts. Just bring me the facts. Right? And also another situation, right, where someone was writing a message about how they were dissatisfied with something, and they were using words like brother. I thought you were a brother. I thought you were there for me. It's like, dude, we had one Zoom call. Why would you ever use this language in a professional relationship? Brother, and I'm so upset, and I'm so hurt and heartbroken. This is what I'm talking about with a delineation between professional and personal. It doesn't get you anywhere. Just bring the facts. Also, when talking to CEOs, do not take offense when busy people don't respond for weeks at a time. You have to understand, even for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 deals like I do, people don't respond for weeks at a time. These people are busy. It's not personal. You have to always remember that this level of people at this status and this game that these people play, there's a major opportunity cost. Anytime they're even on a phone call, or they are answering a text message, or they're giving you their energy and attention, it's an opportunity cost. There are so many other things out there that are pulling on their energy and on their time. So it's not personal. Let it go. All right, the next thing, and this is very important, is to match these people. Energetically match them. Most of these types of people have a no fluff, no nonsense attitude, and they just want to talk about the mission. You have to match them in those energetics. So you're not going to talk to a CEO with a lot of small talk and how's the weather over there? And oh, you're in Texas. One time I went to Texas. Oh my goodness, we went to this dog park and it was beautiful. Have you ever been to Theater Park? What a place. They don't care. They literally don't care. They're in like a life and death mentality and literally calculating their time and what they should spend time on. It's like you have to shoot an arrow straight through it, and that's what they're going to do anyway, but you match them with that. The arrow that shoots straight through to the crux of the matter. You literally just say, hi John, okay, on this call we're going to talk about this, this, and this. What are your questions? Okay, X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Let's talk about it. Okay, sounds good. Maybe a little laugh or something if you want to bring a little bit of a connection, but it's just about the facts at hand. And this is going to create a level of respect, and they're going to want to continue to engage with you if you bring that attitude. They don't have time for small talk, emotional talk, bullshit, fluff, or anything in between. They also don't care about your process. If you're going to talk to someone and say things like, you know, John, I was thinking about doing this the other day, and then I had a dream, and I just realized that the answer was going to be this. They don't care. Just the answer is this. Simple communication. Long story short, the world is changing. Busy people, CEOs are overwhelmed every single day. There are hundreds of things on a CEO's to-do list that they didn't get done today. It's impossible to keep track with all of the tasks that a busy person has to do. And communication is changing. People are overwhelmed by the amount of digital connections they have, and they don't have time for your expectations and how often you think they should respond to them. If you want to be successful, you have to understand the mindset of a busy person, of a wealthy person, of a CEO type mentality. You have to understand how to connect with them appropriately and not bring any of your preconceived notions, any of how you think it should be, or how it was before the internet, or how it is in your relationships personally. This is just simply the world that we live in right now. People are scattered, distracted, overwhelmed, and they have hundreds, if not thousands, of digital connections that they just cannot manage. So this will become a more and more important skill set as we move forward into the future. I will see you guys in the next video. This is a little bit of a different style video, more about business. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this, and also give me a like too. And also subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.